Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Kevin and I are back, and we have Kristin here filling in for Pirate Sarah once again.
I mean,
The
hey,
better
welcome.
version.
But we are going to be talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, starring Ben Schwartz, James Marsden, Jim Carrey, like all these Idris
Shemar
Elba.
more.
Yeah, Shemar Moore.
Shamar Moore.
We will
Yes,
talk lots about Shemar, I'm sure.
yes.
I mean, you will.
So
How is
we're
Mikey Cow,
gonna.
by the way?
Wrong person. Nope. Not a thing. Actually, not a thing.
We're gonna start with the first one and then go to the second one, and then we'll tease a little bit for Sonic 3 coming up, which we will review when that comes out next week. All right, so the critics score for the first Sonic the Hedgehog, 64%. So the critics were a little lower on that. The audience loved the first Sonic movie with a 93%.
That
And
sounds right.
yeah, and then the box office for the first one was 320 million. It came out right before COVID hit. And I think we need to talk about the redesign controversy because this was the huge thing for this movie.
That's probably why it has a low grade from the critics, right? Because the critics
Yes.
probably went into it thinking they weren't going to like it because of that redesign, because
Yeah.
that original design was so bad.
Yes. So I remember when this came out, 2019, the trailer drops for Sonic the Hedgehog,
So
and you
bad.
see what has been coined as Ugly Sonic.
Ah,
And it's literally just so bad. Like I don't know how they messed it up. The fan outcry made them say, okay, we're going to release a statement saying that we're going to fix it, which people have said that it was probably a marketing stunt and they planned on fixing it anyway. Which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but also, like, why?
the
I don't
difference.
know.
The
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah. That's what
Like,
it is.
like why did they think we wanted to watch this?
Aw, he's cute in his own little right. Don't hate
It's
on
Ugly
not good in
Sonic.
a little way.
He's like a gremlin. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a disaster all rolled into one. It's so cute. Like
It
that's what
so I think this gets into why this movie works though, is because I think because of that like fan outcry, they they had to like embrace the more kind of like cartoonish nature of the game, right? Like
Mhm.
I think a lot of the video game adaptations like try to be like too real, like if this
Yeah,
really happened in the real world, and this was like, no, this is a blue hedgehog that runs fast and
I'll go
like,
fast.
right, and like comes from a land where everything is like made of blocks, right? Like,
Yes.
so like I think they had to embrace that a little bit more, and that's why it works.
Yeah, well, and you have such a great cast. I mean, let's talk about Ben Schwartz is the voice of Sonic, and like you're gonna get such a fun actor to give this character life, and just he's able to sound exactly like Sonic in the games. Really, I mean it. I can't
he put in the
remember.
work for sure to like kind of like get that embodied voice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who the voice of Sonic in the games is, but it definitely sounds exactly like him. And so that
Mention him.
works.
Mention him, Jake. Come on. Give me my other love. That's not Shamar.
James Marsden.
Well, no, the animated voice. Give it to me.
Oh, Idris Elba. We'll talk about that
That
in the
sexy man
That's
second.
should be
that's
on
not till the
camera.
second
Yeah, we'll
movie.
talk about him in the
I know,
second
but I'm just
movie.
saying. I'm just saying. We're just like
Yeah,
we're
You're
leading
just
up to it.
eager
I
to
am
get to it.
these hot men. I can't.
eager. Yeah. Well, so I mean,
Nothing. We're
I don't
gonna get
I
there,
don't
but I
blame you.
just had to.
I
I
don't
had to
blame
like throw it out there early because all the audience they're gonna be like, yes, let's talk about that hot man hidden behind Knuckles.
yeah. I mean, they are very good looking men. So, all right.
I love Jake's
Let's
diplomatic answer.
I know.
um well let's talk about James Marsden playing Tom Wachowski.
Cyclops himself.
Yes, Cyclops himself. I mean James Marsden is known for being like
Hot.
the
Correct.
live
Yeah.
action like he's been in like live action movies with animated characters. So like I believe this isn't his first time doing that. I believe like there was an Easter movie like Hop or something that he did that, and then what Enchanted he did that as well. Or Ella Enchanted.
Nope.
It was just Enchanted. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
Those are two very different movies. That's a whole nother podcast. Okay.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. The one with Amy Adams and
Yeah.
James Marsden, yes.
Yes.
Um so yeah, I mean I like James Marsden and again he played Cyclops, so like I enjoy him from that and he is just really fun here. I think like when he's riffing off with Jim Carrey and just especially is just hilarious in this first one. We'll get to some of that dialogue, I'm sure, when we touch on Eggman. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on James Marsden as Tom?
I mean, I
Uh,
always like James Marsden, so
Mhm.
um, I think it's like I thought it was a good, again, like a good game reference that he's from Green Hills,
Yes,
so he's
yes.
the sheriff of Green Hills, um, and like he has it's like the classic movie thing of like he wants to go to the big city and then like by the end like realizes that his real home is in a small town so like it was predictable but it was still cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with James Marsden is he's so like especially just an actor, not even just specifically Sonic, but like he's so adaptable to a lot of different types of characters that it's like he was a perfect like casting because he can adapt and you hang on every word and believe that that is who he is in real life, like hands down to a T. You know what I mean? Like versus you see him in these other movies where he's like a badass or mean guy or whatever, and he just embodies every part that he gets.
Yeah, I mean, here I can believe that he's this nice fatherly figure that is like a good cop and like actually sees Sonic as his like son
Mm-hmm.
and I just can completely see that in this movie and it doesn't feel weird that he's talking to a blue hedgehog and that in reality James Marsden is talking to basically like nothing.
Right, and on set he's talking to nothing but like that's like
Yeah.
Sonic says when he's like talking about how he's gotten stranded on Earth and like the reason that he is like attracted to these people is that they're nice to all the animals. So
Yeah.
like when he does meet Sonic, like it makes sense that this person who like Sonic has been following around because
Yes, yes.
he likes animals, that he like isn't immediately like thrown off and like hating this like weird little alien. He likes it and wants to help it.
Right.
Yeah. The Donut Lord.
But I think to your point too, Jake, because like I know this is one of the main things I wanted to talk about in two, is that that fatherly figure like really takes that role of very quickly and very like almost like heartwarming. You're like, oh, James Marsden, but also you're
Mhm.
hot. You know what I mean? So it's like those moments where it's kind of a really beautiful connection between the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like him and then, he has Maddie, his wife, which is it's cool to have also have a biracial couple as well. And they're really cute together even though Maddie's family hates Tom for some reason.
So funny.
How can you hate that man?
I don't
I
know,
think
he's
I
just
think it's just her sister. I think it's just
it's
Rachel.
just it's just Rachel. Yeah,
Don't
but
get me started on Rachel. We're gonna have lots to talk about with that BIP.
yeah, I think she's the worst character of these movies to be on like it's just
Listen, we need a good like silly foil. It's fine.
but she's not
I
funny. She's just annoying.
I, I
I
mean
agree. I
I
agree.
agree, but like so is Kristin. We still invite her to come here.
No, that's inaccurate. That is I am the main character, okay? I'm not some like unneeded trash. Like Sarah,
Uh,
you
I
gotta
will
throw her in
absolutely
here.
allow
She's
shit talking on
missing. You
Sarah.
gotta throw some digs at her when she's not here.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
for the audience that's thinking that's mean, I would say it to her face. It's fine.
It's true. We all would.
yeah, even me. Um, yeah, but I mean, their relationship is good. I mean, really, everybody just gels with each other pretty much, aside from Rachel, but like, everybody else just all the characters just go together. It's pretty fantastic. So, um, well, we got to talk about Eggman. We got to talk about Jim Carrey. And like when he got announced as being cast as Eggman, I'm pretty sure everybody from the jump knew that this was going to be perfect. Like, to have a live action Eggman, to have it be Jim Carrey. I mean, Jim Carrey, there's no one like him as a person. Like he's Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey. So I've loved Jim Carrey's career since like I've seen most of his movies growing up and
And he's a
so
fantastic host on Price is Right. Just kidding. I'm not actually serious, y'all. All right.
I'm like,
Oh my God, the fact
no.
that you guys thought I was being serious when I said that, I'm dead.
Because I was like, no, that's the wrong Carrie.
No, that's why I
Drew
said it.
Carey, yeah.
Where's the joke went? It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. No, I think he's funny. I think going back to like they clearly were still doing like the old thing of like making it realistic. Like
Mhm.
he isn't just automatically from the start this like cartoonish villain. Like he's from the start this like weird kooky character who then like because of the events of this movie like develops this like
Psychotic.
yeah, this like vendetta against Sonic. So like I think that's one thing that still works, even though I generally think that like approach doesn't in these types of movies, like because it's like an ongoing narrative, and he becomes like more unhinged as the two movies go on, and I assume more unhinged in the upcoming one. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense that he's like the kooky guy, and then like because it's like a silly like family movie, like the government is like, let's hire him, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like a downward, just like he gets crazier and crazier and
Yeah.
crazier. And like he clearly doesn't like he doesn't know all of the lore about Sonic. So like it's really just based on like this movie. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think too it's I mean, going to what Jake said about I mean, Jim Carrey's just iconic, right? And he's this like super villain, like crazy, like you know what I mean? Like all these things. But that comedic just Jim Carrey self like still shines through and it's just like the combining of that is just beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we want to go over our favorite moments and quotes from, we'll start with the first one. I mean, again, James Marsden and Jim Carrey together when they're talking about like, um, James Marsden's like, with the being breastfed or whatever. And then Jim Carrey's like, yeah, shove that in my orphan face or whatever it was. It's like it's just so good. What about you guys for the first one?
I love the stupidity of the scene of the robot chasing them in the car, and he keeps
Yes.
and it just keeps like a smaller robot just keeps coming out of it.
Yes. It's so good.
It's like the Russian doll. Like
And like the final smallest form is like the worst one, like
Yeah, the
most deadly
deadliest
one.
one.
It's shooting lasers.
Yeah, it slices off the top half of the car.
It's like it's so silly. I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, so one was not it for me, like, not gonna lie. So I feel like two kind of progressed a little bit better. So not gonna say I had really any like favorite moments that stand out except for the two that you mentioned. So you guys kind of stole that from me. So thanks.
Rude.
Yeah.
That's
I did also love the sequence where Jim Carrey's doing like the evil stuff in his lab and you have him like skiing and like getting his head bitten off by a T-Rex.
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
so good. And like when his head gets bitten off, like he does this and so like and goes into dancing. Like it's just
yes,
his body is just fantastic.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's other stuff. There's a couple other side characters. I mean, Adam Pally is Wade, which he works as comic relief, but like the fact that they made a show centered around him, just all right.
I mean, they're not gonna get James Marsden to, and they're not gonna pay for like like the movie level Sonic in a whole bunch of episodes. So like,
Yeah,
of course, it's who we get. No, I mean, all the side characters are fine. They're good. Like, if it was just Sonic and Jim Carrey, it would
yeah.
be too much. So like, they do a good job of like making it accessible for all of us. Because like, I didn't actually have a Sega as a kid. I only got to play Sonic at my friends' houses. So
Mhm.
like, it was there was enough references that like I obviously got them all, but then like it wasn't so deep into like Sonic, like the world of Sonic that like I was excluded because I didn't get to play it as a kid. So I liked it. I liked them all. I liked all the little side characters. They helped build that up.
Yeah, I mean, you have the sexual tension between Eggman and Stone.
He is so like Olivia Newton-John, hopelessly devoted.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to the second one that he also gets more psychotic
Oh
He
my
because
just calls him
god.
Doctor. It's just so funny.
yeah, yeah. And let's see. Oh, and then the other Eggman quote. I love when Sonic pushes Maddie and Tom off the building to like save them, and Eggman's like, "Well, I wasn't expecting that, but I was expecting not to expect some things."
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Very me
Uh,
when I'm dealing with children of like, whatever, I'm still right.
Yeah, yep. And then references, I mean, you have the Sonic Green Hill Zone music playing in both movies.
The
And
little sound every time he picks up a ring.
yes, the rings. Let's see. There's several other ones. I'm just trying to remember all of them. But yeah, we do have post credits to lead into the second one. So obviously so Eggman gets trapped in the mushroom world, where we're gonna pick up the second one. And so that's where he's going to start to go crazy. Obviously, Jim Carrey shaves his head, probably not actually, but um, and then obviously the other big one is Tails shows up and setting up the second one. So that was a huge thing. I remember that reveal in the theater and like, okay, they're actually going to make sequels. So because
Like,
this one, they know this one's going to be successful now.
And fun fact about Tails was supposed to just be a secondary character, like not even supposed to like it was just to kind of be there and then be done.
Mhm.
And so also like being voiced by from the game, like you know,
Colleen
yeah.
O'Shaughnessy, yeah.
So having those kind of things come in and seeing that the audience is like loving this, it's like of course you have to bring Tails back, like you have to. And
Yeah.
it's cool, like that's the only voice of the from the game that is voiced,
Yes.
so it's amazing. Like I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think they knew that she was like the best fit for Tails because she's been doing it. Whereas like they knew they needed a couple headliners for like Knuckles and Sonic and stuff as well. So they went with Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba, and then we're gonna get Keanu Reeves for Shadow in the third one. And that's also we get a Keanu reference in the first one when he's like watching the movies with Maddie and Tom from outside. He's like, Keanu, you're a national treasure. And it's so true.
Oh gosh.
Uh, it's so
yeah.
good.
I do like to like from a movie making perspective too that like they put that as an Easter egg for a sequel, but they
Mhm.
didn't like this movie works on its own. Like you're
Yes.
not like if they didn't get to make a sequel, this movie still works. You're not sitting there like, oh man, I didn't get to see this. Like, and I appreciate that as a movie fan.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they save things for the sequel and then the sequel never happens. And like they
Right.
didn't do that. But because there's so much in the games, there is enough for them to make a
Yeah, I
sequel.
mean, I think that's like what you're saying is like there's so much to go on that like you can put a ton of it in one, and then if another one happens, you aren't missing material. You're not scrambling to find something because there's so much.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Oh, the other one was that the Crazy Carl is a picture of Sonic that is a meme reference. It's so good.
Then so him insisting that there's a blue devil and no one
Yeah.
believing him. It's such like a good little gag to have in the movie. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. All right. Well, anything else from the first one? Are we ready to hit two?
No, I just really liked it. I had never seen it. I watched it for this, and
Yeah.
I watched it on I think Tuesday night.
Mhm.
Um, and like I immediately let the next one start playing because I liked it so much. It was just I really liked it.
Yeah, I would say I guess if I'm going to give a grade to the first one first. I would say I'd say like a B plus. It was I actually liked the first one. I think the humor in the first one and the dynamics are a little better than in two. I think two they lean more heavily into like the kid humor, which is fine. It's a family movie, it's a kids movie, but I feel like it definitely leaned a little too heavily into that at times. But the second one does have a lot more great references that like really help it, and obviously the Sonic characters themselves are amazing. So,
I think for me, yeah, like going on that, I didn't love one. I did like two better, but to what your point is like it's almost like they were breaking things up too much to get that like for the adults, you know what I mean? And it's
mhm.
like you don't need this like because all of us adults are loving on Sonic. Like we don't need
Yes,
that part here. So that's where they both had for me they both had things where I'm like, but they
yeah.
were both solid.
Yeah, I'm not like the first one still had cringe humor, but like I don't know. Like there was stuff like that was funny, like when he has him in the bag and is like, "Do you have your kid in the bag?" And that
No,
was
it's not
just
my kid. Oh, it made it even better.
it was so good.
A
Um
random kid over here.
While he's talking, it's so good. I would say, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because like I kind of thought it was going to be more kiddie than like I
mhm.
didn't expect to like it as much as I did. So it
Right.
probably is like a B, but I just was like so it like I started like watching it like on my phone, and as the movie went on, I put it down because I was like so entertained. So like I probably should give it a B, but I'm gonna give it an A. I don't care.
It's a fun movie. So like I'm not gonna deny that I still enjoy these movies.
Yeah,
But and I enjoyed it watching it. It's definitely one of the best video game movie adaptations are these Sonic movies, like without a doubt. And I think that really started with like Detective Pikachu a few years prior that like they knew that they could make something like this work.
yeah.
All right, let's head into the second one. So the critics gave Sonic 2 a 69%. The audience gave it a 96%. So the inverse of each other, and the box office was 405 million, so there was an increase.
Okay.
So
Good things, all good things.
All good
yeah,
thing.
I mean, this is still like a very worthy sequel. I remember watching it. Went with JJ to see this, and one of my other friends, and we went to see this in the theater 2022 when this came out. And I remember coming out of it that I still liked it, and I feel like they were actually lower on it, and they're like, no, it was actually kind of bad. Like I didn't think it was bad at all. I mean, and then like kind of thinking about it, I'm like, okay, maybe they just didn't like all the little kiddish humor that they went more into in the second one because you get more potty humor jokes, you get more
Mhm.
Gen Z jokes, like you're
Mhm.
getting Eggman flossing more. Like we had Sonic doing the flossing in the first one, but then you get more of it
Yeah,
and
that is
like
very like a very like of its day like
yeah,
reference. Um,
yeah,
I mean, I still really like this one. I did have to pause this one because, like I said, I started it late at night and then it got like I had to go to bed.
yeah,
So I did get interrupted watching it. I don't think that I liked it as much. I still liked it. Maybe it was like more of that kind of like potty humor. I also just kind of think like that whole temple scene kind of underwhelmed me a little bit.
hmm,
Like like it's so cool and like they're going to the place and this is like straight from a video game and I felt like they
yeah,
kind of shortchanged us a little bit on that but those are like nitpicky things, right? So like I still liked it and like there were still a lot of references within that temple and it was a nice like little surprise that like the bad guy actually gets the thing, right? Like
yeah.
you expect in these movies that like they're gonna stop the bad guy at the last second and they didn't. um so like that was a nice little twist that I didn't expect because like while I do like these are like basically kids movies.
Right, right. They
I
are.
mean, should I
They
like this movie as
are?
much as I do? um so like there is like a level of predictability to it. So I did appreciate that too. So like I still liked it, but I think that my expectation was just here for the first one and then it was here.
Mhm.
So like it exceeded it. So then my expectation for the sequel is like up here and it's still here. So like it's still like the same level. It's still good, but it's just like my expectations going into it.
I
Yeah, and
think. Oh, go ahead, Jay. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say it's like it's not like that much lower than the first one for me, but it's just like it I can see why they didn't like it, and we'll get into like the couple plot points as well that didn't necessarily do it for me. You can go, Kristin.
Rachel. So anyway, I do agree with Kevin that, like I said earlier, like they are very kind of level for me, but 2 is a little bit higher up for me, and this is why. Sonic really kind of trying to come into his independence in this game, or in this game, in this movie. On the brain. Him trying to come into his own independence and just consistently failing and failing and failing really resonated with me as like just kind of my own journey into adulthood is like you're trying to prove this independence, but then oh my gosh, now I'm back living with dad and mom. Let me go back and I'm independent and I lose my job. It's like there's always these setbacks. And so I think for me to see Sonic throughout that movie to try so hard to be like come into this independence and then just constantly fail time after time after time, it really resonated with me as just like a person, and so I think that that's why 2 is a little bit higher for me, but they are very close.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like there's still some fun humor in here. Like I like that they do a Ben Schwartz joke where he's talking to Tom and he says uh they're the worst. Like that's a Ben Schwartz.
Yes.
It's so
That's like
good.
straight out of Parks and Recreation. Yes, I loved
Yeah.
it.
It's so funny. So there's that, and then there's some more things. I mean, let's get into Idris Elba's Knuckles. Again, a great casting. This is just like when you imagine Knuckles having that voice, it just fits so well. Like Idris Elba's voice is so like smooth and like
Sexy.
yeah, and then but like you can absolutely see where it fits with this character and um everything just works for Knuckles. Again, they put him and Tails seamlessly into this movie. And like we knew Tails was coming from the first one. And so and then they just kind of pick it up and like kind of move it to where like they put the post-credit scene back in this movie and then just like guide you through what happened next and like where and like what was happening around the time that happened. And so I like that they did that. So
The only pet peeve I have with this is because Idris is so good at being
yeah,
but you don't get to see his face. And this is a horrible moment for me.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Shemar was there. Shemar was there
Listen,
shirtless.
we're gonna have a whole section on Shemar. I've already got it down. When we get
yeah,
there, we're gonna talk about Shemar. Don't you worry.
yeah.
They invented an entire like volleyball scene just for that.
Just for me specifically, he was like, you know what, Kristen's out there, my baby girl.
Wait,
And
was it volleyball?
yeah, it was
yes.
volleyball. It was a Top Gun
honestly, I forgot
reference.
he was even playing a sport because he took it. Listen, we'll get there. We'll get there. The whole thing.
They needed a Top Gun reference for the Kristins.
Listen, I mean, if we want to dive into that right now, we could. This will be another hour conversation.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about Knuckles more. Like
we got to get into. Hold on, Shemar, take it. Put him back on the back burner.
But just like I love how again they took stuff from the games because Knuckles is like the guardian of the Master Emerald in the games, and they took that and made it work. And I believe in the games as well, Eggman and Knuckles were working together initially in the games, and then it's the same thing that happens here. Knuckles finds out that Eggman has just been using him, and then him and Sonic go from rivals to friends.
That has to be one of the most like heart-crushing moments when he was like, like I trusted you, you were my friend. It's like you feel that hurt like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh gosh. But I do love too that like Knuckles is finally getting his time to shine, because Sega and like they had no idea what to do with Knuckles originally. And so this movie kind of like lets Knuckles like have his moment in the sun. And I love that because I love Knuckles. Not just because it's Idris Elba. I do love Knuckles.
No, I like that you like I mean, again, this is like kind of predictable plot lines. Like that like the real bad guy is just using like the new character to get the thing. But like you do see like little signs throughout the movie, right? Where he's like, wait a minute, like he didn't just leave Tails behind. Right? Like
yeah.
So like you start to see that like he starts to see like, oh wait, Sonic isn't the one that I should be fighting. Like so I appreciate that stuff too.
Well, yeah, it's like, I mean, like what you're talking about too, when they're fighting is, what's his butt takes the emerald thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later on, like not even that long after, then they're saving each other. It's just like kind of a beautiful full circle moment there.
Yeah. Does it look like I need your power? That was my terrible impression of Idris Elba.
That was actually really good. Jake,
we love
I almost
impressions
thought he
no
was
matter
here.
what.
I'll always
I mean, I
do.
thought Idris was here for a second. I was about to like take his shirt off or something.
Hold on, let me do a Sarah impression. Hi, I'm a pirate and I'm stupid.
That was so good.
Spot on.
Cannot.
No, I love doing impressions on here. So, yeah, some other fun references. I like that Sonic calls him the Winter Soldier at one point. It was like, my God, yay, we got a Marvel reference.
Oh my God.
Good, because Marvel's not the only one that can reference other IP. Good for them.
Yeah. We got so many IP references in this movie. Yeah, so I mean, it's really good. All right, do we want to talk about Eggman and then we can talk about Kristin's love, Shemar?
Yes, let's fly past Eggman here, and so we can get to the real star of the show.
Yeah. Well, again, as we mentioned talking about the first one, Eggman is way more psychotic in this one. I mean,
And I love it. Like
he's
that
been
is
driven
sent
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
He's been trapped on a mushroom planet for what, like 200 something days or whatever he says, and
Who even knows? I don't remember. And like
surviving
a
only
long
on
time.
mushrooms.
And but like he is crazy, but like he is also a genius because he sets up
Yeah.
all those things to like he's like pulling strings, literally
Yeah.
pulling strings, and things are working. So like, yeah, he's crazy. But we do get to like see and appreciate that he's also like a crazy genius.
Yeah. Kristin, anything?
No, I'm just waiting. I'm like jumping at the bit to get to my dude.
Yeah. Well, and
I love a good villain. You guys all know that. I do love a good villain. So
you are a villain, so
I am. We all know this. So like I can appreciate evil where evil is at.
Yeah. So, and then of course, we get his sexual tension with Stone, and like that he's
It's
obsessed
so
with him,
good.
that he's gonna put his face in all the coffee with the cream,
It's
and
so funny.
It's like that's not why he's so
He's
upset.
he's delicately making it for a random person. It's so funny.
and then it's funnier when they like stir it and get like angry at him for like.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait for more sexual tension in the third one.
Listen, speaking of sexual tension, have we talked about Shemar?
Not quite yet. I mean, do we have any?
Jake's like, girl, take a chill.
I also do want to say I think the giant Eggman robot looks great in this movie. Like at the end when he like uses the Master Emerald to create this giant robot.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're able to blend like CGI and live action so seamlessly is crazy. Again, this is like a post-pandemic movie, came out only 2 years after COVID when a lot of other movies were struggling for quite a few years. Like Marvel was even struggling with that. So like we got Quantumania a year later that was horrible looking. So
we won't discuss those. It's fine.
yeah. So but like it was just really, really cool. I'm sure we'll get to some other fun stuff later, but anything else on Eggman? Are we ready to head to Kristin's love?
I was born ready.
Take the floor.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, I have at it.
All right. This is for the real audience here. Let's just talk about the star of this movie, okay? It's not Sonic, it's not fucking Eggman. All right. It is Shemar. I can't say the words more. The fact that they allowed this man to be shirtless should be against the law because this is a kids movie and things that I was thinking were not very kid-like, okay? Because it's Shemar Moore. But then he's like throwing on, like he's popping out his little police badge, and I'm like Criminal Minds flashbacks, SWAT flashbacks, all the things. But I do have to, this is a very important one, okay? Rachel is dead to me. She is dead to me because First of all, don't go kissing on my man, okay? And you don't even interact with Sonic, so you're completely unneeded. I think
Yeah.
I should have taken that part. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, she was very, very useless. I mean, again, she just yells at Tom and then is trying to get with Shemar more the entire time. And then, like,
I could have done it so much better.
They were engaged. It was their wedding. What do you mean trying to get with Shamar more? They were engaged.
They were
It was
engaged.
a fake wedding. It was a fake wedding.
It was a
okay?
fake
Because
wedding.
he honestly wanted to marry me. This is where we're at. Okay.
Yeah, it was a fake.
But like to get to the scene of him stealing the ring so that he can throw it so the snow comes through into the Hawaiian wedding.
Yeah, that was so good.
But they had the mix up of the rings too. Like this is like these are perfect moments though too. Like they're so cleverly worked together.
Except Tom could have just said the rings got mixed up, but instead it turns into this. I'm just gonna punch Shemar in the face.
Which I did not approve of because don't like James, okay? I know that he's better looking than you, but like don't take a shot, all right?
It takes a lot of cojones to punch Shemar more in the face. So like but yeah,
I would do other things with that face. But
I mean, but thank God he was like a double agenting and like he's the one, because imagine how bad Tom would feel if he was the one who ruined that wedding, but it wasn't him. It was Shemar.
Yeah.
Who can do no wrong, so it's all fine.
You cannot do that's. I was literally waiting for you to stop talking so that I could say he does no wrong. So he didn't ruin that. So
speaking on that, so this also sets up Gun, which is like the government organization in the Sonic games. So they set that up, and the leader of Gun was in the last movie talking about Olive Garden with the never-ending pasta bowl. It never ends. That was another one of the best jokes from the first one. But this one, I mean, he literally comes in, the general comes in, and James Marsden is just like, "You're the Olive Garden guy." It's so good. But just like I do appreciate that they are doing that reference to the games, and they're obviously using that to set up the third one. Because Gun is behind Shadow, like that's a big thing from the games. So I do appreciate that. It's just this whole plot line is just, I think this is what bogs down this movie for a lot of people, is just like this plot line with Rachel, and this whole thing is like we're getting very little interaction with the Sonic characters. And so you're just having the human characters just be extremely cringe and
it didn't bother me that much though. Like I don't like, because here's the thing, you've got to get the couple out of there, right? Like Sonic's human parents, you got to get them out of there. So like, good, send them to Hawaii for a wedding. And then like it also has like that little bit of tension because she doesn't like Tom, which is just silly, right? Like it's not supposed to be a huge deal. She just doesn't like him, and it's funny because in-laws fight sometimes. That's fine. So you get them out of the way so Sonic can have his hijinks. And then when he finally does come back, that like Shemar Moore is actually there just to take Sonic into custody. Like, it's fine. These are just like, this is like, this little side story is just to like have things set up for the main story. So it's fine. I don't understand people complaining about it. I think it's fine.
I mean, Shemar was in it, so I'm never going to complain.
Yeah. I'll just remind myself again, A, this is a kid's movie, B, it's actually setting up a plot point that's going to come into play.
Go. No, I was gonna say, like, even not as a kid's movie, like, it's just like, it makes the whole like structure of the movie make sense. Like, because if they don't leave, like Sonic doesn't like get into the issue, like get into the trouble he gets into. That's and true. Then and if there's no wedding, like if he doesn't crash the wedding, there is no revelation that like this organization exists. Like, so like it's all fine. Like it seems to me more like intentional. It doesn't seem like, oh, we need to create a plot line for the humans to be in, right? Like sometimes movies like this will have that where it's just like they create like this seems like it was there for a reason. Yeah. It was there for it. So like this focus was like what is Sonic's path? Like, okay, so how can we get him to do that? So like, okay, we have to have these things happen, as opposed to like we need to throw something in there for the humans to do. So
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, Hawaii is close to where the Master Emerald is, so like it does put Sonic there when he needs to be
right,
on his way to get the
right,
Master Emerald.
I would
Um,
also like to just point out, you guys keep mentioning that this is a kids movie, but they had Shamar Moore shirtless. Like
right.
this
That
is
is
not
like
kids movie.
that
yeah,
sort of
that's
scenery
true.
should not be wasted on children.
No,
Um,
it should not. I mean, also, I'm just trying to see how many times I can bring up Shamar Moore in this podcast, and the fact that he was shirtless. So we're gonna count them. It's gonna be a game for the.
I'm not interrupting you. I'm not stopping
I
you.
know. Who would? It's Shamar Moore, shirtless.
True, true.
Shirtless Shamar.
It's Shamar.
Um,
That
so
man should
then,
never.
so
Sorry.
then it does get back to Green Hills, and so then we have the showdown with the giant robot and Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic all working together, which is pretty cool. And of course, we get another great video game reference with the Master Emerald cracking and becoming the Chaos Emeralds, and you get Super Sonic, which is
Sonic.
I loved that this paid off. Like I was so glad that this was like how, Sonic saved the day. And it wasn't any other way. So and just the fact that he uses his powers to get a chili dog from the sky is and to send chili dogs onto Knuckles, like it's so good.
Yeah.
But like, okay, like I know we're wrapping this up, but there's one specific like full circle moment in this movie that I think is so powerful. And it's we're starting us off with like this fishing trip.
Yes.
Talking very dad like, you know what I mean? Of course, Sonic is being Sonic. But then at the very end, it's like he is admitting that he's his dad. It's like a complete, like, it's so adorable. I'm sorry, this is like
Mhm.
so heartfelt. And you forget that Shamar was shirtless, but it was just like I can mention it anytime, Kevin. But that moment was just very genuine and very heartfelt for that moment.
Yeah, I mean they do have those like emotional scenes, like even though this is a kids movie, I mean it is teaching kids a valuable lesson when they're watching this though too. So I think that's
Well, and I think that
important.
that's for like kids that maybe are adopted or foster,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're being
exactly.
seen, you know what I mean? So it's a great moment there.
Yeah, and Sonic gets two new adopted brothers, and so yeah, I mean it works out. Yeah, and then yeah, Adam Pally's in this one as well. But literally tries to eat a display bagel. So
I forgot about that. Oh,
yeah,
boy, bagel.
God, I don't know. Again, they literally centered a show around this man, so
Wait,
around Wade Whipple. Oh, geez. All right. Well, I mean, the obvious tease for Sonic 3, of course, is that we get Shadow teased and just like such a good payoff. Of course, Sonic 3 has to be about Shadow. And I my first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure 2 in 2001. Well, once I was older than that, but because I was like 5 when the game came out. But I played it after the fact when I was a kid, and like that is one of the best Sonic games in my opinion, and that is the first game where Shadow comes into play. And like that's the whole storyline of Shadow. And so I'm interested to see how the movie adapts that. I think it's going to be a really good storyline, and Keanu Reeves is going to kill it. So,
And Shamar Moore's back. If you
oh
didn't know.
yeah, he is going to be back.
I
So
wonder if they're gonna
Kristin
send him back
gets
to Hawaii just for you.
This is
Um,
why. This is why I signed up for Sonic because Shamar Moore's in it. We're fine.
yeah,
um, no, I had I knew these movies existed. I thought about watching them before on like a Saturday when I'm doing nothing, like cleaning the house, like maybe I'll turn it on. And like I'm so glad I didn't do that. And I got to actually like sit down and watch them. And I like them so much that I'm like, I'm actually now excited to see this third movie.
yeah, yeah. So we'll cover that next week. We will give a grade for Sonic 2 as well. I'll probably give it a B minus. Like I think the first one is just a tad bit better for me. This isn't a bad movie by any means. It's still a great adaptation of the video game. So Yeah, I think it's a solid film still.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the first one A. I would say this one, like I said, is also really good. I would probably give it like a B plus, but I'm probably, like I said, influenced by my like expectations on that.
Mhm.
So I didn't say it out loud, but I did when Jake was giving his, I went like this to give a C, but is
See,
that backwards? There we go. So this one I will give a C plus just because, like I said, they're very average to me. This one was a little bit better just for things I already pointed out, but I feel like, I mean, first off, they did very well with the references to the video game and things like that, but I feel like they could have done better in some areas, so that's why they're very average to me.
that's very fair. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's another podcast in itself is to rank the best like movie video game adaptations
I
or
think
like
I think these and Mario are like
and Mario and Detective Pikachu, I would
are
say.
like I really like Detective Pikachu, but I didn't play Detective Pikachu enough to know like those references. But like I think that like we're in such a like a great space for video game adaptations now. Like
Yeah.
it's fun. Like the 90s and the early 2000s, like how many times can we see like realistic takes on some of these characters? And
The
so like
original Super Mario Bros. Movie.
yes, so
We should cover
ridiculous.
that just we should
We
cover that
should not. It no, no, Jake, we shouldn't.
by
Um,
I'll let
so
you
like,
go.
but like it seems like, and I mean, I doubt they do because Hollywood cares about money. But like, it seems like the people who make this actually care about the characters and the game. Like they seem like they actually played it and were fans of it. You know what I mean? As opposed to
Mhm.
like, oh, here's a popular thing, let's turn it into a movie. Like it seems like these were people who appreciated these things as kids and were fans as kids, and so
Yeah.
now they're all grown up and they get to like take their favorite thing from when they were kids and make them into movies.
Yeah,
So
they took the time to care. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
so like this is an exciting time for those sorts of characters.
Yeah. And so yeah, next year we are getting a second Mario movie as well. So think it's next year. I know there's been talk of other Nintendo franchises because we might be getting a Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe. Who knows what they're going to do with
Oh my gosh. But like what would like Bowser and like the I don't know, like who's a ridiculous character to have on screen with Bowser? Like Bayonetta? Like
oh my God.
how would we get them in the same movie? Why would they be fighting?
Solid Snake.
um yeah, I don't know. Like I know they've been making a Zelda movie. I know very little about Zelda, so like
Zelda's
Yeah.
like life. How do you not know like very little? This is
because I didn't have that game. I had the original Nintendo, like the 80s Nintendo, and I had the original like giant box, this big Game Boy. Um, and I didn't have Zelda for
I
either.
love that you have to explain to all the like little children out there that it was
Right.
this.
So what I want the children to understand is like your phone is this big now. This is the iPhone
Types of
Plus. Okay. And so what I'm telling you is yes, the Game Boy was like four times as thick,
trick.
right? And it was like bigger, and like you had to,
How did
and it
we
was
hold
so,
that thing? It
and
was so
you had
bad.
to hold it and like mash the buttons like this, and like,
Oh,
so
it made me cry. It was so bad. How did we survive?
yeah, no. So like we had Mario and Duck Hunt on, and like what was the Olympic game where you had to like run and jump? You had little
Oh
track.
yeah.
You
Oh
had
god.
that.
Yep, I know exactly. I can't think of the name of
Oh,
it.
okay.
And like always held the gun right up to the TV for Duck Hunt, right? Like those are the
Right,
things.
like
I so like Zelda just wasn't in our like repertoire of games that we had.
Yeah, I know
like
there's
the. Oh, go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say no, you can go because I was gonna reference some other stuff.
I
That
was just gonna say Zelda for me was very much like so that was like my dad and I, that was our like on the weekends, like he'd pick me up for my mom's and I'd go over to my dad's and we would like conquer Zelda for like the entire weekend. And I'll never forget us beating the very end, the big huge boss, all the rhinos and stuff. And it was like when you finally destroyed it, it was like, oh my gosh, we beat Zelda. Like it's great. Like so that's
yeah.
very like nostalgic for me for Zelda. So
Yeah, I know there's rumors. I know they've been rumored to be doing a Metroid movie with Samus. I believe Brie Larson has been like rumored to play Samus around for a while. I'm trying to remember if there's any other ones that are rumored, but I don't think so. So I mean, I think it'd be cool. I don't know if they would make a Super Smash Bros. Movie anyway, because I feel like that just doesn't lend itself to be.
Listen, let the MCU make Battle Planet first. Let them figure it out,
Yeah.
and then Smash Bros. Can take the notes.
Well, but also, how are they going to combine like Sonic with a fully animated Mario movie? I don't think that's good. I mean, Nintendo and Sega are doing. I don't know. I mean, they obviously have collaborated many times, so it's possible, but I don't know how they would make that work. So,
Meh, meh. Who cares?
so
Just listen. All we want is to take our toy box, take the toys out, mash them together.
that's how Smash Bros. Was. The original one on N64 was literally that.
Yeah. So just give us a toy box.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's that. So next week we will do Sonic 3 review of that movie, and hopefully it will be a lot better than some of the other movies we've been reviewing recently.
Listen, we didn't review
Craven.
No, thank God.
Yeah,
Kristin
thank God.
here.
Listen, I was gonna say you two go watch Sonic 3. I'll go and watch Wicked again. We can do them together. We can do a little duel.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we have Kristin here. We could have talked about Wicked because she did not want to like Wicked.
Listen, I can admit when I'm wrong.
I didn't
I
think
don't
you
like
could.
to. I don't like
I didn't think you could. I was impressed that you did.
you know, each
Yeah,
time.
we bet on the wrong movies to review live so far. So
Yeah,
hopefully
unfortunately.
Sonic is good.
I think it will be. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about this one. And then I know What If season 3 is dropping at the very end of the month. So we will probably try to review that. Like maybe that'll be like very first thing after the new year. But we also will drop like our announcements for like our series for next year. Probably drop a trailer or something with what we
My
plan
gosh,
on
Time of
doing.
Nerds isn't going to see me until 2025. How will they survive?
We'll find a way.
Listen, I'll just show up just to bug you, Kevin, because
I know you will.
Yeah.
It'll be a
at 1 a.m. on a video call. No,
fun surprise.
Yeah.
fun when I'm here.
I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, a lot of Survivor stuff that's going to be going on, and then our movie stuff. And Kristin and I will be doing our own series. So that's
Oh
going
my
to
gosh,
be
maybe I
fun.
could surprise pop into some of those.
No, you're not
Yes.
invited, actually. Sorry. You know who is invited? Michael.
Oh, Desmond. Yes. Okay.
Yes, basically, yes.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. So we'll kind of figure out a schedule for what we're going to do moving forward. But yeah, thanks for all the support. Like, subscribe, comment,
Like,
share.
comment, subscribe, share, bell notifications. Subscribe on every platform.
We
Yeah.
hate Kevin and Shemar Moore should be shirtless.
What
And subscribe. I don't know.
YouTube and
Spotify,
Spotify
yeah.
and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. So
Well, thing.
yeah. But yeah, we're excited to see where the Tribe of Nerds future goes. So with that, we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Fuck you, Sarah.